again, guys. It's Carly from the Poetry of Nice. Happy Saturday evening if you are catching this today. So I figured I would just kind of hop in real quick and give you guys a quick look into how I personally go about finding comps for my items. If you watch my channel at all, you know that I sell on Etsy, eBay, and Poshmark. And each one of those presents sort of different challenges, etc., when you are looking to see exactly how you should price an item on that platform. I do price slightly differently on platforms. Etsy and Poshmark, you tend to be able to ask a little higher, although I do take best offers on all three platforms quite happily. And eBay, it really just depends. So let me just go ahead and dive in and show you exactly how I would go about it and sort of my method, and hopefully that will help somebody. So I have three items. I have this sweatshirt, this vintage bikini, because Etsy, I want to show you something vintage, and then just a pair of shorts. And I figured I will just go ahead and show you how I would do it on each one. So let's go ahead and start with Poshmark. So these are active listings in my store, things that I've already sort of comped out and things like that, but I was going to go ahead and show you. So this particular sweatshirt, I will go ahead and show you. So it is by Madewell Miles. This is like one of their active lines. I believe it did not have a style number in it that I could find. So I didn't have that to go with necessarily, but I do have a few keywords here. So peach grey heathered sweatshirt. So what I did to start with, obviously I'm going to go ahead and put Miles Madewell. I'm going to keep it as broad as possible. Now, when I search these are all of the active listings that are coming up right now on Poshmark. You can see mine there. So what you want to make sure of here, so I am in the women category, make sure that you checked that. Sometimes it haphazardly checks on men or children, and I'm like, oh my goodness, there's nothing on here, and actually I've just been categorized wrong. So then go down here. Another thing you want to pay attention to is right here where it says sizes. You can actually check box on, and that's going to show everybody like what I would look for personally in my size when I'm shopping. So make sure that is unchecked, that box there. And then now, while it could be valuable to have a little look here and see what all people are pricing at actively, you can see here that sort of I am kind of in line with a few of them, sort of like mid-range here with what's being asked. I'm actually going to go right down to the bottom here. I'm going to keep conditions all. Mine is pre-owned, so I'm not super interested in whether or not it's new with tags. And then availability, I'm going to click sold. So obviously this is going to show me some of the items that have sold recently. And what you're looking for on Poshmark as well, a good indicator. Obviously there's a lot of stock photos and things being used, but you can also look up in the corner. Let me see if I find anything. Oh goodness. There we go. Like this kind of thing here is going to tell you that the item is new with tags. So that's going to give me an inclination of whether or not they're asking a little bit more because it's a new condition. So essentially what I will do is kind of scroll through and I'll get a feel for what I saw recently, what is comparable to my item, like something like this, even though it's hooded, is fairly comparable in color and cut. And I'm going to kind of make an estimate as to what I think I should ask. I don't see anything that is exactly like mine at the moment, but I do see, you know, a variety. So we're looking at 35, 20, 40, 48. Again, none of these are saying that they are new with tags. 40, 40, 40, 36, 25, and on it goes. So mine is a little bit more plain. It doesn't have this rainbow thing, which I'm sure definitely goes in its favor. So what I chose to do, as you can see here, is I did choose to start it at $40. It has been sitting for a little while. Like full disclosure, you know, so I have like 11 likes on it, whatnot. This is an item that I am very happy to send offers out to likers. I'm also happy to take offers, and then when closet clear out and things like that pop up, I'm very happy to like sort of steadily drop my price. What will happen is if I get to sort of $25 and I feel like I'm still not getting any interest or bites, I will probably just go ahead and end the listing and relist it again and kind of start from scratch. Maybe at like around $35, $38, something like that. But yeah, so that is kind of how I would deduce a price on Poshmark. That may seem like I'm pricing too high to you guys or too low. It just depends where you sit in that field. But like I said, I like a little bit of wiggle room to do with offers. And sometimes you just have to start a little bit high, especially when you don't see anything exactly like yours. Just to kind of feel out the marketplace and see what all is going on. All right, and I'm going to show you real quick as well with eBay. This is how I would do it on eBay as well. So Miles, again, keeping it nice and broad just to begin with. So as you can see here, we've got everything in black. There's all kinds of different things on. This is very cute. It has like embroidery and stuff. These are pre-owned, and these are asking prices. This is what you have to remember. These are people can ask whatever they want on eBay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to scroll down here to completed listings and sold items. I'm going to show you sold items first. So I would probably start here. This is again going to give me an idea of what all has sold recently. And for what kind of price. So again, we see this embroidery that's a little bit sort of fancier than mine, and then this is kind of what we're looking at. So when you see this, this means, as you can see here, best offer accepted. eBay is not going to tell you how much it actually sold for. Here's a tip, and I use this on Etsy as well if I find a sold listing, because they don't readily have the information either of how much an item sold for. Go ahead, just kidding. Go ahead and take this URL here. We're going to go over to flippertools.com. Enter the eBay item ID or URL. I'm just going to paste it there. And that is going to tell me that somebody offered $25 and the seller accepted. So that is giving me an idea of how much this item actually sold for. Another thing to always look out for is see if they charge shipping. Obviously, you can do free shipping on eBay, and sometimes that can affect pricing and sales prices as well. So you want to make sure you have a clear overlook of exactly what an item sold for and what the conditions kind of were. Also, I'm going to go ahead and show you here now as well. All right, I'm going to go to the main page up here. I'm going to scroll down, and this is where I can do my Etsy sold price. So if I find a listing, it's sold, I want to know what it's sold for, I'm going to put in here, it's going to give me the exact same kind of format as it just did for eBay as well, and tell me what the item sold for on Etsy. Extremely useful when you're doing your research for comps, especially when it comes to vintage items where the pricing can be all over the place, and it can be kind of hard to get an idea of exactly what you have on your hands and what it's worth. Okay, so let's hop over here to our vintage items so I can show you as well how I would search on Etsy. So same thing again, you know, I'm going to go in here, broad to begin with. So this is a vintage high cut bikini from the 80s to 90s, probably late 80s due to the label. So I'm going to start over here, and I'm just going to put literally like always add high cut in there as well. So this is showing me, these are both my listings, but this is showing me, you know, a bunch of stuff. These are the asking prices, right? So again, I'm going to take myself over to sold because I want to see exactly what people are willing to pay. This is mine. This sold recently. I was super happy to take that price because I don't have a lot of money in them. But as you can see, some have sold higher, some have gone lower, especially the separates. 23, 42. 20, 30. So yeah, oh, that is cool. Okay, so we're getting a look here about, you know, what all things are selling for, right? It's looking around like between 25 and like 45 perhaps at a push. So super cool. So I'm fairly happy to set on my price. Like I said, $25 price there, 35. I personally think this is a slightly cooler piece just with the stripes and the kind of tie-dye vibe and stuff, so I went ahead and priced a little bit higher. Again, open to offers, open to sending offers to likers, all that kind of stuff. I'm happy with my $35 price. It's also listed on eBay, and it's also listed on Etsy. So let me go ahead and show you how I search on Etsy. So I'm literally, again, broad stripes, vintage 80s bikini, and I'm going to see what's out there. Like I said, I cannot readily look at solds. It's just not, that information is not necessarily like on Etsy, but I can see what all is out there. So again, I'm looking for something that is going to be comparable in style, in cut, in print, which can be a little bit difficult, but I'm also looking just like sort of across the board, what exactly are people asking for these items. So we've got everything from like $21 up to $100, 30, 25, 30. So I would again deduce that between that like 25 to 35 mark seems to be fairly, 25 to 45. Some people definitely going higher. Again, so much depends on like print and what you have. This thing is cool. You know, there's a lot of variables, especially when it comes to vintage, but I feel like mine is fairly middle of the road, and I feel like my pricing is fairly good because I don't want to hang on to it forever, but at the same time I don't want to sell it off for absolutely nothing. So and then the last item I was going to show you again. So you're going to want to look for specifics on items if and when you can find it. So these are BDG shorts. These are sold at Urban Outfitters, and like many jeans and just denim in general, you can often find some information inside. So where my size tag is, it's given me the actual style name, the super high rise short. So that's given me a jumping off point right away to check on all 3 platforms. So let's see what it's selling for on each one. So BDG. A little bit more, which is kind of interesting, right? I have mine listed at 25, but I'm seeing like the button fly is very cool. These are neat. 24, so that's kind of in line with mine again. 20, 25, 20 again. Mine are just like a nice clean dark wash, very classic, but nothing like super stand out. Okay, so I feel like 25 again is pretty middle of the road, 25 to 30. And again, we've got some lower prices down here. So then let me take myself over to sold. Again, I am making sure that I do not have my size checked there. And let's see what all they're moving for. Okay, so this tells a little bit of a different story, right? Yeah. So this is what we want to do. You want to look at what people have got a price for, but at the same time, you do want to look and see what it's selling for. And you can often add in here as well your size if you want to see if that is affecting anything. A larger size may be selling for a little bit more. You know, that's always fun to play with. Okay, so we're looking like what? $10, 18, 14, 32. That's pretty good. Again, though, we've got this classic button-up fly, nice like stonewash. 13, 11, 10, 31, 17, 15. So 25 seems like it could even be towards the higher end of what I might get for these. So to me, I kind of deduced from this that 25 was a good place for me to start to get an idea of how many likes and how much interest I would get. And again, a jumping off point to send out those 10% off or 20% off or shipping with shipping discount, offers to likers or to take offers. You know, I would be okay with taking something between like 15 to 20 for those shorts, but I don't want to price them at that because then if someone comes and offers me, you know, 10 or 12, I feel like I don't have the wiggle room. So I started at 25, and then obviously I'm just going to go from there and feel out what exactly the marketplace is saying to me. So let's go over to eBay and see what the exact same shorts seem to be selling for. So so again, these are listed. So we've got some listed, what, 12, 10, 13, mine, 20. So you can see I'm kind of like above market there. You know, that's something that I may adjust in the future, but I also run quite a lot of sales. These are pre-owned at 30, these pre-owned 25. You know, it just depends. Sometimes it's a question of like if you don't ask, you don't get, and sometimes you just have to kind of like feel it out. And I do have best offer on as well. So between that and sales, I do feel like I have some wiggle room, especially because as you can see here, we have one just sold for like $16, and then we have 10. They did sell with shipping added. 8. Oh yeah, that's not so good. We can go ahead and see how much these sold for with our nifty trick. Let's go over to Flipper Tools and see exactly what we're working with eBay. Okay, they sold for 14. So I feel like pricing at 20 with best offer is hopefully going to leave me down a way to get something between, you know, that kind of like $14 to $18 range in the end. So anyway, that's pretty much what I have to show you. I hope that that wasn't super boring. And I hope that that made sense. If it didn't, leave some comments below. I'm more than happy to elaborate. I just know that some people are new to certain platforms, and there's obviously different ways to go ahead and be checking these comps. And yeah, you know, sometimes it helps to actually visually see somebody else do it. You may do it a completely different way. If you do, leave it in the comments below because I would love to learn from your method as well. Perhaps you have a tip or a different resource that I haven't mentioned here. That would be awesome for me and everybody else to be able to see. So please feel free to share that. That would be very cool. All right, guys. Well, I hope you had a good day. I hope this short video was helpful in any way whatsoever, and enjoy your weekend. All right. Talk to you soon, guys. Bye.